Hello everyone. Today we are going to solve the 10th question of SQL 50 series from Leetcode. Okay, and the title for the question is average time of process per machine. Okay, let's go through the table first. So here we are having one table, activity table, and in the activity table we are having machine ID, process ID, activity type, which is the type of data type is enum, and the timestamp, which is a float. Okay. So machine ID, process ID, and the activity type is the primary key for this table. Okay, so this is a composite key which together makes a primary key. And machine ID is the ID of a machine. Process ID is the ID of process running on the machine ID with machine ID. Okay, and the activity type is a enum category, which I told, right? So in previous videos also we have discussed about the enum, that in the enum you decide the values initially, that out of which values the values should be taken. So here we have two values, start and end. So there will be no values other than these two, start and end. Okay, so that's what actually enum does. And the timestamp is a float representing the current time in seconds. So here start means the machine starts the process at the given timestamp, and end means the machine ends the process at the given timestamp. Okay. The start timestamp will always be before the end timestamp for every machine and process ID pair. Okay. So there is a factory website that has several machines, each running the same number of process. Okay. So let's go through the question. What we need to do is write a solution to find the average time each machine takes to complete a process. Okay. So write a solution to find the average time each machine takes to complete a process. So how we'll understand that when the process starts and when the process ends? So here the explanation is the time to complete a process is the end timestamp minus the start timestamp. Okay. So the end timestamp minus the start timestamp. The average time, we can directly take the average for this. Uh, uh, the result the resulting table should have machine ID along with the average time. So then the output will have two columns. One is the machine ID and the other one is average time as processing time, which should be rounded to 3 decimal places. Okay, so now let me show you the data into the table first. Star from activity underscore 10. Since this is a 10th question, that's why I'm having this underscore 10. Oh, okay. So sorry, my bad. We haven't run this use prep. Now we can run this database and table. Yeah, so here you see this. So let me explain this data first. I hope my screen is visible. Let me just, yeah. So here you see this machine ID 0, process ID 0, right? And for this, the activity type is start and the timestamp is this. For the same, if you see this machine ID 0, process ID 0, and the end is this. Okay, so it means that it starts at this timestamp and end at this timestamp. Okay, the same similar for the same machine ID. If you see, there is a second process that starts at this time and then again the end. Okay, so now this is for a single machine, but there are two processes, 0 and 1. And for that, we have two records corresponding to one process, that is a start and the end, start and end. So that's how we are having this data. So now the question asked is the average time of a process by a machine, that I mean, what's the average time for that machine it has been taken. Okay, so here you see this. So it asks in the explanation, it gives that the time, first you need to find out the difference of this timestamp and then the average, right? So difference will be end minus start. Okay, so how we can do it? We can use that. Again, there are multiple approaches to solve a one question, but here we are going to use the joins. Okay, so let me show you first. So activity 10, suppose I have given it as A1 in the join. activity 10 A2 on. So we know the column like machine ID and the process ID is the common column. I mean, since it's a self join, right? So we can join it on the machine ID and process ID. So here you see this machine ID and process ID. Okay, so machine ID is equal to A2 dot machine ID and A1 dot process ID is equal to A2 dot process ID. Let me run this and show you that now what we are having. Okay, so now you see we are having the same record twice, correct? And since this end and start, right? So it makes this duplicates the record. So initially it has 4 records, but now you see that it has 8 record, correct? But now what you need is you need to have, suppose for the 0, you are having this activity type start, process ID 0 as well. So for this 0 and 0, the start is this 0.712, correct? And the end is this, right? And for this 0 0 end, so you need to find out 0 0 end. So here you say this 0 0 end. So we need to have we need to minus this 1.52 minus 0.712. So if you see this row, so here you see this, right? Activity type is equal to start and activity type is equal to end, correct? So here, once you filter it out from the A1 table, that A1 dot activity type is equal to start and the A2 dot activity type is equal to end, you will get this row, right? And here you can do the minus of that, A2 minus A1, correct? So let me first filter it out on that condition. So A1 dot activity type is equal to start and A2 dot activity type is equal to end. So now let me run this query. Yeah. So now whatever we were looking, right, we got it. So machine ID and the process ID. Now you see all are the unique combination. If we here see this, right? And here also if we'll filter it, I mean, if you do that A1 dot timestamp, I mean A2 dot timestamp minus A2 dot A1 dot timestamp, it will give you the time, but it won't be the average, right? So what you can do is first we need machine ID. Let's just do it. A1 dot machine ID, comma, and the other thing which we need is A2 dot timestamp minus A1 dot timestamp. Let me run this now. So you got this value. So for this machine ID, now what it wants is it wants the average of it. So directly you can just write down the function average here as it's a processing time it has mentioned, right? As processing time. So now if you try to run it, right, you won't be able to do it because you have used an aggregated function. So you need to use a group by clause. Now let me run this. Yeah, so now you see this for me for this machine ID, you have this processing time for this. Okay. Now what it asks is it wants to do a rounding of 3 digits. Okay, so let me just run this now. Yeah, so now you see this machine ID and the processing time. So this is what the output here. So it has the explanation in the lead code has given with a different way since we have not used this and we are directly using that average time and the inner join we could do it with the round functions and average function itself, right? So 0.894, 0.994, 0.894, 995 and 1456, correct? So I think we got the correct answer. So that's it for this question. If you have any doubt or any feedback, please do let me know into the comment section. Or if you have any other solution, that also you can ping, just comment in the comment section for that with new solution. Okay. And the DDL for this, you can get it into the description. I'll just paste it there. Yeah, I think that's it for this question. Thank you.